In this video, we're going to take a look at the tune Countdown by John Coltrane. We're going to take a look at the first chorus of his solo, because in here we can find little bits of pieces of information that we can use when we try to put together our own solos, when we try to play over this very difficult tune. Then later on in the video, I will also try to see what it sounds like if we try to apply these so-called Coltrane changes over another tune, like a regular jazz tune with just a regular 2-5-1, and see if we can use it as a way to play outside, as it were. So much stuff to cover. Let's get right into it. Okay, so right off the bat, some people are saying, well, you're not playing it very fast. This tune is supposed to be played ridiculously fast, and yes, I know that. This lesson is not about playing super fast. Basically, I can't play it at that tempo right now. But however, these things that I'm going to show you would be an excellent way to work on your technique. And if you use these little licks, you can gradually build up the speed. So it's great to have a goal like that, and I think that's kind of part of the reason why we like these tunes. It's because, like Giant Steps and these other Coltrane tunes, because they're a great way to measure where you are. So I could, for example, set a goal that 2 months from now I'm going to be able to play these ideas twice as fast if I wanted to. I might not reach the tempo that John Coltrane is playing. I don't know if it's possible, but it's great to have like a holy grail like that, something that you're kind of aiming for. So what is he playing here in the first chorus? Let's take a listen to John Coltrane's first chorus over Countdown. Now here I have slowed it down 50%, so we shall see what that sounds like. Okay, so I have here a transcription of the first chorus with tabs, and I'll put that on my Patreon page. So first, let's look at the first 4 bars. We need to remember that this tune is basically a reharmonization of the tune Tune Up. So the tune Tune Up starts with a 2-5 in D. And John Coltrane is superimposing the Coltrane changes on top of this 2-5-1. If you don't know what this is, you can check out my previous videos on 26-2 or Giant Steps. So he ends up with this chord progression. Right? So the first thing he does is he plays this. Right there is an excellent little lick that you could practice over the whole tune. So basically I'm just taking the same lick, the same phrase, and transposing it to the next set of changes, which is basically the same thing, a whole step down and then another whole step down. Okay, the next 4 bars sounds like this. Of course you could do the same thing here, just transpose it. Oh, sorry, start. So then I would start on E. What am I doing? Okay. However, this is great, and it's a good idea to practice this way because we need these kinds of lines that work over these changes. However, there's a problem because anytime you learn a lick that works over a specific set of changes, it kind of only works over those changes, right? So that means that you're kind of trapped and you need to play the whole line. What we are looking for are smaller segments, so-called jazz idioms or whatever you want to call them, that we can kind of connect to create, so that we're not trapped in that long line, right? So in order to find those little segments, we can break it down. So let's break down the second line. First he's playing on the D minor. The D chord is actually not part of the Coltrane matrix, right? So he's just playing the scale up. Then he's playing E flat, major 7, flat 7, back to the E flat. He does this all the time on giant steps, and I've talked about this before. Then he arrives at the third of the next chord and just plays arpeggio. So, E flat, A flat major. So basically we need one little thing for the dominant chord and one little thing for the major chord. Now we have that, then we can continue. The next dominant chord is D flat 7. Sorry, B7. My bad, B7. So then we do the same thing there. E major, G7, C. Are you following me? So I'm playing the scale up on the first chord, and then we're in the matrix. We're playing the going down chromatically, and then the third arpeggio. Next chord, the same thing. So if I start from the top of the changes, now we have a little thing that we can use. Obviously it sounds very repetitive when I play it like that, but the idea is that I can, if I have several of these, I can kind of mix and match to create a more variation, as it were. The next little thing I want to look at is this. So what is that? So basically if we take the first chord, E minor 7 to F. That's F7, then I play the 9th, flat 7, 5th, 1. It sounds like a pentatonic idea. Now we have a B flat major 7, I go to the 3rd, root 2, back to 3rd. In the next set of changes, this is the same thing that he's playing on giant steps a couple of times. So again, I started just going up the scale on the E chord. play it over the backing track. The last example of a little segment you can find in this solo is when he goes. So basically that is just going down the scale from the dominant chord, ending up on the root of the major chord, and then play the Coltrane pattern. 1, 2, 3, 5. And the next chord. So if I do that over the first 4 bars, we have E minor, again just going up the scale. Now F7, I play the scale, mixo scale down, land on the B flat. Now we have a D flat 7, G flat major, A7, D major. Next set of chords. Okay, now what you want to try to do is try to combine them. And I guess if you do that enough, you combine these little licks and you work on it enough, they become you become so comfortable playing these licks that you can combine them almost as a reflex, right? And then you can start to really try to improvise over this tune more than just kind of playing pattern, 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 if you know what I mean. So Countdown is based on the tune Tune Up. So Coltrane put his changes, the Coltrane matrix changes, on top over the tune, which is basically just a bunch of 2/5s. What happens if we solo as if we were playing Countdown over Tune Up? Would it sound super outside, or would it sound, cool? We shall find out. So this is Tune Up, just a 2/5, right? To C, 2/5 to B flat. I don't know what you think, but people do this. It works better if you're playing a fast tempo. It can be really cool. I think I've mentioned this before, that it can be really a cool and effective thing to do if you're playing with people that are kind of on that level that they can kind of pick up on it. But if you just throw it in on your typical wedding gig and you're playing a medium swing, all the things you are, and you're starting to play this stuff, people will be like, what the hell is going on? But it's an excellent thing that you can do as a kind of as a way of playing outside, because when you're playing outside, you want to play something that makes sense in and of itself, kind of. So it's not just random notes, right? It has some kind of direction. So you can kind of hear the lines kind of moving in and out of the harmony. Another thing to remember is that you don't have to play the whole cycle. You can hint to it. So, for example, I can play, right? So I don't have to play the whole cycle. That kind of, it's a kind of hinting to the Coltrane thing, but not doing the whole progression, right? Now let's take a tune that has nothing to do with this. Let's take Autumn Leaves and see if I can apply the Coltrane matrix over Autumn Leaves. So that was my lesson on Countdown. I hope you got some ideas. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or are confused by something. And again, PDFs on my Patreon page, and I shall see you next time.